So I thought I would do a post commentary with the Queen Charge hits that I'm doing to help people learn if they're trying to get into the army. But on this first base, I didn't quite know what to do for the town hall. I didn't want to blimp it. So I saw the little gap in front of the town hall and the expos and between the multi. So I was just gonna put my king here and then rage him up. But I found the tornado. It's not a problem. I have Quake Boots and Spiky Ball to clear up a large portion of the base right there. And we got the CC pull. So an early CC pull and Queen Charge, Lalo, for it, at least, is very big. Because you don't want the CC to be pulled late and mess up the Lalo to take out the balloons. So the earlier in the attack that you can deal with it, the better. So we did accomplish that. And so now I'm waiting to see where my queen walks before I put the healers down. And it happened a little late in this attack, so I had to pop her ability and then wait for her to walk down to the multi. And then since I wanted to put them down, I had to make sure that the wizard tower didn't take out the healers, so I just put a giant there. And I start on the right side of this base because the rage tower is down, so I did put a drill just to help with the RC and the ground warden push in. And more often than not, I will do like the RC with the hog puppet and the electro boots and the ground warden, because the Lalo by itself is strong enough that it can take out what the RC warden combo and the queen charge doesn't get. And it gets a lot of value being the RC and the warden, because raged up hogs along with the RC can get through a lot of the base, and then majority of the time the Lalo is just a cleanup on the back end. So this base wasn't the best to really talk through because it was just bad. There wasn't like a set way to approach it, but it's the first day of the season, so we'll take what we can get. So this next base, I'm looking to see if I can flinger anything. I like using a flame flinger in the army because it's cutting a funnel the entire time you're starting your queen charge and before you Lalo. So here I do see good flinger value. I see we can get a wizard tower, we can get the multi-archer tower, maybe the ricochet cannon. So we'll put a flinger down. We'll put an archer first to test for any ground skellies and potential Tesla pops. And I'm also looking for, I know I said a late CC pull is very annoying, but I wasn't going to charge that. So you have ground bows, you have cannons, you have sweepers, and then on top of whatever could get pulled from the CC. So I did charge the monolith and the multi-gear tower here, just because I don't want to have to put my Lalo through the multi-gear tower. So even though it's not splash damage, it's just got such a high fire rate that it'll melt balloons. And Queen with the frozen arrow here is more than capable enough to take it out. And I do want to touch on the Queen equipment real quick though. So I have frozen arrow, that's a given. But I am using Sneezy because the boogers that spawn from it, they can pull poison towers, they can pull red air bombs, and they just get out to tank in front of healers, which is, it's very, what's the word? It's just very convenient. Like the boogers fly out well in front of the healers and Sneezy itself. So it's just extra tanking that you don't have to invest a Coco Loon for. I did do ground RC or ground warden with the RC here again because the queen didn't walk into the monoliths and I needed to take it out before I picked off my healers. So again, just like a little support Lalo in between, or to cut off the RC path to make sure she goes inside. It wasn't the cleanest Lalo deployment because the back end I still had to get through a scatter, another poison tower, and a multi, but My queen not walking in kind of hurt. I had to invest the RC in the warden. What I would have done differently now thinking about it, I probably would have frozen one sweeper and just early blimped one of the compartments, because you're getting early CC pull, which, like we said before, is very good for queen charge army. You're getting the scatter, you're getting the ground bow, and you're setting a funnel for the queen to charge either the right or the left of where the blimp left off. It does end up being a time fail here because the frozen arrow can disable the ricochet cannon, and I have the magic mirror also, because like I popped it early because I only had like 30 seconds left, and I'm pretty sure more or less that's the duration that the clones get, so I figured I might as well pop it. I'm gonna waste time if I just hold on to it, but not the best. On this base, it's nothing special. It was just a very clean hit, I thought, so I would include it for that reason. The one thing good about town halls before 17 is you can flinger them, so that's what we're going to do here. And you can get that town hall activation here because the wizard tower, the radius for the flame damage cuts over the wall there, so it activates the town hall, which is good. And we use a test hog there to pull ground skellies and Teslas before the flinger will, so we're going to let that go. And on these bases, so back before the Quake Boots and the Spiky Ball came out, the Rage Vial and the Giant Gauntlet were huge on this base, with Zap Lalo at least, because you could zap out the innermost portion behind the scatter compartment, and then you could use the Giant Gauntlet to beat over the wall, so you're splashing the scatter comp. But then with the Quake Boots and the Spiky Ball, it serves the same purpose as the Giant Gauntlet and what the Zap Quake would do with the Zap Lalo. But here, I'm not talking about the Queen too much, but she's just going to go in and take out the multi and the ricochet cannons. And then here, we're going to do the RC and the ground warden again, just to cut between the flinger and where the Queen and the King left off. And then it's just going to be a support Lalo from 12 all the way to 9. It's nothing too special, but I thought it was pretty clean. And here I didn't have to invest a lot of spells on my queen, because she was never in any crazy DPS other than the cannons that are on her currently. But so I have a lot of spells to invest in the Sui and then the Lalo on the back end. But I don't know how much anyone watching these understands Lalo or like balloon deployment, but you're safe to deploy 3 balloons on any defense that isn't a scatter, expo, or an inferno tower. Like as soon as 3 balloons hit the defense, they'll take it out and move on to the next one. Just small things like that. It's pretty clean, so we'll move to the next one. It goes without saying that if you ever see Central Town Hall with double invis, you're going to use Log Launcher. You can try a blimp, but I mean, you would have to double freeze the invis, assuming the Yetis don't go for them. But Log Launcher for Central Town Hall double invis is always how I approach that base, at least, or any base of that style. And I choose to queen charge from 3 because the value, you're getting an air targeting hero, you're getting that multi-gear tower, the monolith, early CC pull, and then you can end up triggering that little bomb behind the monolith. And I use a Yeti here to funnel to make sure my queen goes in, so when the log launcher goes through, the Yetis and the queen aren't coming out of either side. And then to deal with the enemy RC, I am going to put my king down, and it just helps more with the log launcher funneling. That way the multi-archer tower isn't picking off the log launcher also at the same time. So I'm just going to let that work a little bit. And I did learn recently that the logs from the log launcher will continue to go, and they only break after they've hit 4 targets. So we're seeing the multi, the spitter, the scatter, and then the town hall were the 4 targets, and the logs would break after that. So um, just a small detail. And here the RC and ground warden again, just to cut off the 12 to 9 again, and then we can support Lalo from where the RC and warden leave off. So it's not like a traditional Lalo where you would send the warden in with the balloons, but it's very base dependent, and that's how I kind of go for it. I don't always do the RC, but on the bases that I hit, I find ways to make it work. And then I'm using an Ice Hound here. I haven't touched on that yet, but when the Ice Hound does pop, or if it does pop, the little frozen mites or whatever they're called, frozen pups, ice pups, they can take out air targeting heroes very well, like the Minion Prince, the RC, the Archer Queen. And so it gives the balloons plenty of time to work through the base. And then it's an extra freeze spell for 10 extra housing space, which is only toon balloons. So I think it's a decent trade. It serves as like an additional headhunter, an additional freeze. So onto this base. I did see more flinger value. So here we see ricochet cannon, we see multi-archer tower, spitter is facing the opposite direction, or in a direction that it won't hit the flinger. And then on the other side, I see I can funnel my king into the multi-gear tower, and I can charge the 9 o'clock to push queen into the town hall. I have plenty of wall breakers. I carry 4, only because if there are ever junctions where the wall breaker like will miss the junction wall by like a tile, that is annoying. So I carry quite a few just in case that happens. But king gets in here. I'm going to hold on to his ability until he gets to the spitter. That way he can hopefully hit the poison tower and take that out so the Lalo doesn't have to worry about it. And then poison spell here because king with the phoenix, it'll keep all of the CC troops in the radius. And again, I'm going to do the ground warden with the RC at the top just because it's such a straight line. It's very effective. I have plenty of spells to keep my queen alive. I just have to keep an eye on her. You can disable the Town Hall and Monolith here with 1 freeze. So, and the boogers here, they're pulling, like they're distracting the Monolith. They're pulling air bombs. I think Sneezy, at least in my opinion, from how I've been using the army, is the best pet on the queen. You could do Unicorn, you can do Frosty, but I think that pulling traps and pulling towers early is more beneficial than the other 2 pets. But again, it was just a support Lalo from the top side to help push the RC and the warden toward the middle. There's not too much to say about the Lalo portion. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You just drop a few for each defense. I mean, depending on what it is. And then you can haste them to carve out the path quicker. But it wasn't bad. On this base, it's just a 15. There's not anything crazy to note here. But I guess to talk about funneling, though, I do bring a Yeti because the Yeti itself targets whatever building, and then the Yeti mites that are spawning from it when it takes damage are defense targeting. So best case scenario, you can get like 1 or 2 trash buildings, you can get a defense, which helps with a king funnel a lot. And we are going to flinger here again, just because it helps with the queen funnel as well. And so here I use the Yeti on the wizard tower because I want the flinger to get that single down quickly. And then also the baby dragon's another funnel troop. It's nothing too special. But I charge the minion prince here because the other 2 air heroes are spread apart and I wanted to try to get my headhunters in a straight path, so where they can go from the warden to the archer queen on the back side of the base. But we wall break here to that junction because it was targeting the air sweeper. That's also one thing to note. The wall breakers will target defenses behind the walls, not the walls themselves. So that's how you can predict where the wall breakers would go. It's just a little thing to note. And then the ground warden with RC. Like, it's not the best, but with the it helps create such a nice pathing for the Lalo that it doesn't matter like what the Lalo has to go through with the Ice Hound. It's not going to ever have a problem if you can set up the nice RC warden combination. And again, you see how easy the Lalo is just coming through the back end of the base. I have plenty of spells. The Queen takes Town Hall easily. The RC is just cruising through the base. And the haste spell on the back end to just take out that last air defense with a few loons. But plenty of time. My flinger stayed up until the end of the attack, I'm pretty sure. So Queen Charge isn't necessarily a quick army, but I mean, it was a 15, so there's not anything to really brag about, but I thought it was a clean hit, so I included it. Again, on the first day of the season, the bases aren't going to be the best, but I thought they were just pretty good general approaches, so that was day 1.